With the Nintendo Switch about a week away, we thought we'd give our brief opinions on the hardware, the peripherals, and the games that are coming on launch and thereafter. First impressions of the Switch itself was that it was surprisingly small, but far more sleek than its Wii U predecessor. Holding the Switch with its Joy-Con controllers attached feels light, but weighty enough to know it's a dense piece of hardware. When docked, the Switch is 1080p, and when undocked, the 720p 6.2-inch touchscreen looks sharp, and with the Joy-Cons attached, quite comfortable in the hands. The Joy-Cons are of course detachable, which encourages Nintendo's on-the-go philosophy for either playing alone with a charging grip or passing each Joy-Con to a friend. The Joy-Cons on their own serve their purpose but feel quite dainty. When playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, my hand were constantly hitting buttons unintentionally, so without a doubt, this will take some getting used to. The Joy-Cons also have a feature dubbed HD Rumble, which we'll get to in a moment. The battery life is said to last 6 hours undocked depending on what you decide to play, but I don't think it's going to be your 3DS replacement. While there was a mock airplane during the Nintendo event, it doesn't feel like a portable device. I think the Nintendo Switch is meant to bring us our beloved Nintendo games while being able to bring your Switch to a friend's house, not on a road trip. Speaking of our beloved Nintendo games, here's what we got to play. ARMS. This motion-controlled robot combat game isn't going to be the next big esports stadium craze like Nintendo portrayed in their sizzle reels, but is a fun way to showcase some of the tech Nintendo has in their controllers. You can choose from a number of robotic combatants, then pick a loadout to adorn your arms. The two-player versus mode had us looking at the screen and strategically punching, blocking, and parrying our opponent's attempts at landing a heavy blow with boomerang arms, missile arms, arms. Yeah, when I say strategically, I use it loosely. Each match started with poise and inevitably ended with flailing the vibrating Joy-Cons at the screen until you were KO'd or victorious. This felt like they could have slapped the Punch-Out name all over this to boost sales, but nevertheless, Nintendo has said that the ARMS characters are a new welcome to the Nintendo cast of characters. ARMS feels like a game that you play with your cousins around the holidays and let collect dust on the home screen. If possible, I'd like to see it played at a higher level to perhaps fill me in on what I'm missing. ARMS is slated for Q2 2017. 1-2 Switch seems like it was meant to be the equivalent of Wii Sports for the newest Nintendo console. While ARMS did show off some of the motion controls, 1-2 Switch had us experiment further with Nintendo's new technology. With a total collection of 28 minigames that employ the new controllers, 1-2 Switch will have you facing off with another player, Joy-Con in hand, doing questionable activities, which include, but are not limited to, attempting to efficiently and embarrassingly milk cows while staring into the eyes of your opponent, getting to duel at the OK Corral, quickest to draw and shoot wins, unraveling treasure chests, eating sandwiches, and probably most interestingly, guessing the number of balls in your controller. You heard me correctly, and this is where the flaunted HD Rumble feature comes into play. In this mini-game, you can tilt and move the controller to estimate how many rolling balls are being simulated by the new Precision Rumble feature. The Rumble is accurate and impressive. Utilizing several motors in the Joy-Con, it is able to simulate a cascade of vibration moving across the controller. While these mini-games take place, live-action performers fill the screen with character, and some minimalist set design is certainly an interesting and artistic style to behold. As aforementioned, 1-2 Switch could easily fit the shoes of the Wii Sports. However, Nintendo has opted not to pack this title in with the Switch and slap a full price tag on it. For a game that really gets you and the whole family enjoying your new $350 toy, I think it was a majorly missed opportunity. Zelda Breath of the Wild is the reason most of us will be getting Switch at launch. Despite having a relatively small launch lineup of games on Friday, this monster title is going to move units. It's obvious within the first moments of playing Breath of the Wild that the famed franchise has taken note of popular open-world mechanics since its previous iteration. After briefly talking to a magical tablet in the cave, you're set out into lush green fields and skies of blue. This time around, Link doesn't rely on only his sword, but numerous weapons that will drop from defeated enemies are found in the wild, some slower and beefier, others that strike more quick and deft. Combat is reminiscent of the Souls games more than the Zelda franchise, and it feels great to vanquish a foe and scoop up weapons, crafting materials, food, and other goodies on the way. Gameplay felt tight all around, but the performance with an undocked Switch was noticeably flawed. This is something that will hopefully be ironed out come March 3rd, but still wouldn't be enough to deter fans from what is sure to be the next big darling of Nintendo. Splatoon 2 was also present at the event, showcasing the new dual-wielding paintgun character who can action roll around the arena. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe showed off its complete DLC-included edition of Mario Kart on a beautiful 1080p TV display running at a solid 60 frames per second, which is probably the most visually compelling and colorful piece at the event. Conversely, Bomberman R, a new top-down classic Bomberman game, felt a bit out of place at the event, and for a Bomberman game, suffered heavily from frame rate issues. And Just Dance 2017 was there, but we didn't get a chance to play it. The Switch launches this Friday, and I know for certain that Zelda Breath of the Wild is going to be in my cart, but I'm not completely sold on what else is offered. It was recently announced that Snipperclips, Shovel Knight, and World of Goo are now slated for release day as well. However, aside from the unique co-op puzzler Snipperclips, should we buy Shovel Knight for a third time? A new gaming platform is always exciting, but does Nintendo have what it takes to compete in this market? I have faith that Nintendo will always find a way, and as we move deeper into its foray, we'll see if the initial software lineup gets in the way of this innovative piece of hardware.
So that's the Nintendo Switch. That was our day. We got hands-on with Splatoon, finally got some hands-on with Zelda. We got to see how it worked, taking it out of the dock and putting it back in. It's actually pretty quick. The only delay would be when your TV recognizes a new input, but taking it out of the dock, lickety-split. The new controllers are interesting. They're they're small in my hands, but they feel all right. They're lighter than I thought they might be, but there's a lot going on. The rumbles and a lot of motion, and there's just a lot going on that hardware. Zelda was really interesting. Frame rate was kind of chugging a bit. I saw a lot of screen tearing. Hopefully that's not very representative of the final product. We're being ushered out really quick. So ARMS is interesting. Again, feels like the Wii boxing on steroids. I don't know if it's a full product, but all in all, I think the Switch is pretty interesting. The screen feels good. It's not too heavy, but it's not too light where you feel like it's just like a Fisher-Price kind of dinky toy. Everything feels pretty good. I think this has a lot of potential, and the tech is there just from like switching and going back and forth, and what they do with it is really what's gonna make or break it. That's it.